Alright guys, in today's video, I hope to teach you guys how to make a beat like HNTR. He did a remix for Clooney, for Stephanie, which was probably one of the most played tracks at Coachella, at Ultra, and I believe maybe at EDC.
Ooh, these haters on my identity. Bam, 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 bam. Again, one more time.
This video, I'm just going to show you guys how to get the vibe, how to break it down. Now, I know I teach in a very messy format, so what I want you guys to get from this video is the simplicity of the drums, but how the bass really adds to the groove, the call and response between it. Again, my goal is to help as many of you guys be able to make music that you are proud to play out when you DJ, so hopefully this video aids in that.
The first step is going to be at a 134 BPM range. This is going to be what his remix is at for Stephanie, which, you know, the Clooney track. You call it Stephanie, I call it Stephanie. From there, I want to start building out this groove, so we're going to put a clap there. He has a very tight open hat, so at the bottom left here, we can already just get it nice and tight. I'm also going to pitch it up a bit around there. I think for that last part here, I'm going to choose to tighten it up a bit. I like the accent on the clap, which in essence is the clap just gets doubled in essence in volume, but also layers applied. Like that's great with me. And let's Command J. MG Low 24 filter, it cuts more of the highs, which means it allows us to create more of a bass that is deeper, doesn't have a lot of these high frequencies, but we can bring them back with an envelope, lower down the sustain. We're gonna drop it here. Okay, and let's pick the key of F minor for this. Okay, now you're going to make a MIDI channel. And you're just going to go into a 1/8 format. And the 1/8 is going to be dun 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 dun. Like so. Just loop it. And now we're going to control the decay. We're also going to go into our sustain, lower a tiny bit, pull back on the decay so that also the volume of the bass feels like it's snappier. Okay, now he also likes to use rides here. Just do this good old transient shaper here. But I don't want to cut out too much of the energy it's giving me. Let's also make it a little more warmer by removing or rolling off some of the highs, which is what we call housing the sound. Well, in that one song, he does an auto pan effect to it, or either applies a ping pong delay. So we're going to try going with an auto pan ourselves. Full amount. Let's go with beat rate, which we sync it. So it's based on a time division. Let's try the 1/8. A little too fast. 1/4. Half seems to be the best. Let's ease up on the amount. I'm going to use a plugin known as Track Spacer. I've been watching some mixing engineers that mix music that I look up to, and the sidechain they're doing with this is very interesting to me. So we're going to run it to the kick, and we're going to use our high cut to remove everything below 300. So everything below that's going to get sidechain. We're going to apply the attack a little lower, like around 3-4 milliseconds, and we should be good. Now for this, you can use any sidechain that you want, but I'm deciding to go with this one, again, just to kind of experiment a bit. There we go. Let's re-trigger it so that it always starts at the same position. Adding a bit of resonance and driving fat so that when the resonance happens, the low end isn't lost. So that's what this fat and drive are going to help us do. We got something sick. Now I want to put in a close hat that's going to be playing 1/8. I'm going to get rid of the open hat for now. It ended up going with roar, so we'll play with that. Hearing the bass. Modulation mod is super important. Let's bring the open hat back in. Open hat, same thing. Let's just warm up the highs instead for this one. So here what I'm doing is just adding flavor to the drum. Saturation is an effect that pretty much mimics me driving really hard a sound through a ceiling that is pleasing, because as that sound is driven up into the ceiling, it starts to add harmonics to the sound, which just means more upper frequencies that are going to be associated with the original frequencies you had, which sound pleasant to the human ear. Think of it like adding salt to something. But the thing with saturation too, and the thing with salt, right, is that if you add salt to something that's already kind of salty, you got to be careful not to overdo it. What's going to separate HNTR from a lot of people is the attention to detail on the bass or mid bass or bass accents, which in essence right now what we have is cool, but the thing that gets his grooves really going are going to be mid bass accents and ear candy shots that we can use. So for this, let's try and find maybe like some cool percussion and like basses that we can use for this. So my good friend Faku made a sample pack a while back. F sharp, F. Okay, it's at 132. So here at the BPM, I'm going to add 132. Initial hit. And that. Okay. So this is a different way of working. You know, a lot of people always go to Serum2 presets, synthesizers for these. But if you have samples, a lot of times what you can do is go through them and chop them up and do cool stuff. So for instance, here, I could like grab this sample and manipulate the audio of it to go back. To do like a shot like that. Hold shift, pull. We'll leave it like that. So we can start going through some sounds, the libraries and all that good stuff. So I'm going to go into some techno one that I have here. Paradox. Kind of want to do some two shots here. Okay, so it's put a tray. I like the idea of this here to go into the clap. Delete that. I'm going to remove these sounds because they're just not working how they should. So we're going to delete that and go with another shot. So with the amount. So that's cool for the first shot there. So we're going to create that. Try also getting like a hip hop vocal in there to like use as, you know, call and response with everything else.
With that whack shit.
Let's use the vocal.
Dog shit. Dog shit. Don't step up to me with that whack shit. Whack shit. Whack shit. Whack shit. Dog shit. Don't step up.
Let's see if we can modulate something with that.
With that whack shit. With that whack shit. Whack shit.
Some resonance.
With that whack shit. Whack shit.
That's cool. So if we press A, we can get into that.
Whack shit. Whack shit. Whack shit. Whack shit. Whack shit. Whack shit. Dog shit.
That movement in there.
With that whack shit. Whack shit. Dog shit. Don't step up to me with that whack shit. Whack shit. Dog shit. Don't step up
Let's
to
do
me
one more different bass shot over here.
with that whack shit. Whack shit. Dog shit. With that whack shit. Whack shit. Dog shit. With that whack shit. Whack shit. Dog shit. With that whack shit. With that whack shit. With that whack shit. Whack shit.
Now, there's this plugin that many people know already. It's known as Infiltrator. Sometimes I like to use it just to kind of get something more exciting, different, get some ideas on what to do to the vocal. So let's see what happens. Like that, that. So that's an idea that maybe I can use. So.
That whack. Dog shit.
And just remove the beginning, just so that way we're not just using a vocal loop.
That whack shit. Whack shit. Dog shit. Don't step up to me with
Just using the vocal. Let's try this. And that way they interact. So A ends when this hits. So then we get. And let's try Infiltrate. One more time, something cool. That's cool.
Don't step up to me with that whack shit. Don't step up to me with that whack shit.
If I'm working on this as well, right, we got the main beat on top, and pretty much what I wanted to show you guys here is how you can use various different sounds like he does in order to create really sick patterns. The sounds he uses are also very dark in nature, but now if I wanted to really spice things up, what I like to do is if we have these close hats doing this, and let's say here I wanted to thrill it like a hip-hop beat, then I can increase the range to 116 and then hold E, Command E. Do some cool stuff like that, and even another lower the grid, Command E again. Do some cool stuff like that. I'm gonna add that again here.
Don't step up to me with that whack. Don't step up to me with that whack shit.
Fuck that shit. And we can either use this shot here, which would be interesting. Dun, 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 dun. Just standard hits. It's all sound design based. Get a square in there. Let's get it to really smack. Put some another sound like I want to say the electric guitar. Boom on it. B. Then let's process it a bit like OTT, you know, all the good shit. Factory, OTT, let's try it. Pull it down. right. We check.
Don't step up to me with that whack shit. Talk shit. Don't step up to me with that whack shit.
Nah, I like an uplifter as well. Just for fun.
Talk shit. Don't step up to me with that whack shit. Talk shit. Don't step up to me with that whack shit. Talk shit.
Ooh, these haters on my identity. Bam, 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 bam. Again, one more time. Oh, the haters on my. So you really need like a good vocal when you're making this kind of stuff, but the beat itself, well, it's kind of simple in nature. I feel it's a little tricky because you have to make sure all the elements are working and have the right sound. So that's where like your sound banks will come into play, or maybe you go the sound design route. It's totally up to you. Some people enjoy the sound design route. Personally, me, I do sound design, but when I'm working on music, I hate doing sound design on the spot unless I know what I want. But hopefully this video helps. Now, I know I was a little all over the place, so let's just refine down what we did. We have a very basic beat that's going to be a combination of a tight clap, kick, open hat, and a close hat on the 8s. Like so. You can do the 16 rolls if you'd like. I did them because I just thought they were cool. But he doesn't really do them. In the particular song I was referencing for this tutorial. The rides are super huge. They add so much energy, auto panning left and right. And then the bass, which you guys now know how to make, really just gets this going. From there, you want to use bass shots in order to accent and create more rhythm other than the basic one. And this is probably going to be the hardest part, knowing where you want to place your stuff. I was using his as reference here and there, so don't be scared to go hear his music or some of his other songs or other people that are doing it, Odd Mob, etc. Even other tech house artists on how they're going about in the bass accents, you can do this in various ways, like, like there's no right or wrong. It's just more about how you envision your beat, right? And the bass shots are going to be percussive, allowing you to do the same things. All right, from there, the hip-hop vocal really adds a lot, and it's using it here and there, sparingly, doing cool stuff, build, and then the last drop, he just can do that. Boom, boom.
Okay, so I hope that you got at least one nugget of information from this video that you can use in your next track. Again, all the sounds that I'm using are from evilsounds.com. That is where I have all of my sound design work. Now, the big thing here is you don't need those sounds. They make life easier, but if you want to sound design them yourself, or you can find them elsewhere, maybe like Serum or Ableton presets, then by all means do that as well. If you have a splice description, just take your time looking for the right drums in order to craft your next hit. But with that being said, you guys take care, and I'll see you guys next time when I see you. Peace out.